Today you're going to start your non-objective Photoshop composition. The first thing you want to do is look at your desktop and locate the Adobe Photoshop icon for the program. It looks like a camera. Double-click it and it'll bring you to the welcome screen. Once you're here, find the orange circle that says Edit and double-click that. Make sure that you don't click the purple circle that says Create. Once the program loads, the first thing you want to do is create a new document. So along the top, go to File, New, Blank File. This is where you can change the size, the resolution, the background color. But all we want right now is we just want a blank page that's about the size of a piece of paper. So under Preset, you're going to drop it down to US Paper and say, OK. Now you've got your blank composition. The first thing you want to do, and this is the case with any project, is you're going to want to save your file. So along the top, go to File, Save As, and save it to your OneDrive, or if that isn't working well, you can save that to your desktop. You want to save it with your name, and since this is our non-objective composition, you could call it non-objective, or you could call it NO. Just make sure that you have your name in the title. So now mine is saved. So if anything happened and it closed out unexpectedly, I could just find it on my desktop or my OneDrive and double-click to open it. This is your blank canvas. The first thing you're going to want to do today is give it a color in the background. Now, if you change your mind at any point later in the project, the other 2 days we're going to work on this, you can. So the color you pick is not the color you have to have. So don't feel like you're committing to a huge decision here. Right now, in the bottom of the screen, you can see my paint bucket. I'm circling it, or my color palette. I have two colors. I have black and white. If I took the paint bucket and I clicked here, my background would be black. If you click the little arrow to switch the other color on top, that's now the color in the paint bucket, and I could change that to white. So if I wanted my background to be black, I would be all set. If you wanted another color, if you click in the top square, this is your color palette. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, do you want reds, blues, greens? If I wanted greens, or maybe even more of like an aqua, I could click in that area, and then wherever you click in this box becomes your new color. So now I have that green. So if you want a solid color background, that's all you would have to do, okay? Let's say that you wanted a gradient for your background. Underneath the paint bucket, there's the gradient tool. With the gradient tool, and with any tool, the options, when you click on the tool, the options pop up along the top. So if I wanted a gradient of my two colors, I could have a gradient that sort of goes from left to right or right to left, one from the center, one that's sort of top to bottom. But you click what gradient you want, and then you click and drag in your picture, okay? And you can spread it out farther in the picture as well. If you don't like that, you just say Edit, Undo Gradient, Edit, Undo. Or you can do Control-Z to go back to where you were. Now, that is the gradient with the two colors that I've chosen. There's other gradients here too. There's other color choices you can pick, okay? So you can get as creative as you want for your background. Keep in mind, at any time, you can say Edit, Undo. If something happened and you really couldn't undo it, you can always add another layer along the top. Layer, New, Layer, and say OK. And if you look over here, on top of my background, I have another layer. And if I click to work within that layer, I could do something new for my background. So if you look here, I have this, and then I have this. So if I want to change, if I want to delete one of those, I can. But I think I'm going to go back a couple steps and back to the beginning, and I'm going to give it just this background for mine. So what I'd like you to do today is choose your background, be creative. You can have a solid color or you can have a gradient. Make sure that you've got your file saved, and that's it. So the last step is just for me to say File, Save. I don't need to say Save As because I already saved it once, and now I'm ready to move on to part 2.